It's an agri-tech special. We start with test flight. Sourced from the sea and delivered by air. Can an agricultural drone deliver a natural fertilizer?
We're right there, right in the beginning of things that could absolutely change agriculture.
Then it's me, reflecting on my first few days as a robotic dairy farmer.
It wasn't my idea. Don't talk to me.
We have news and farming YouTube. Welcome to Farming Britain.
How's this for a double act? Smart drone tech combined with the natural fertilising properties of seaweed.
We're right there, right in the beginning of things that could absolutely change agriculture.
The potential growth for drone use in British agriculture is huge. They're already being used across the world for survey work, mapping and crop spraying, but there's tight restrictions on delivering a payload in the UK, which is why Alex, a farmer from Ukraine, approached David and Michael from Edwards Seaweeds. He wanted to find a natural product that he could apply to crops from his drone.
They cannot apply chemical fertilizers, and they were looking for something that they could actually put on the land to make full use of the drones, or a wider use of drones. So yeah, they'd seen what we were doing under UK seaweed fertilizers, and they approached us.
I had a previous experience in Ukraine. I used and apply seaweeds on my field because I grow vegetables. I grow tomato in greenhouses, and open field I grow cucumber. And also it's a biological product, so it's very good for environment and yes.
David is also a farmer and is very excited to see his seaweed fertiliser being delivered in this way. After a horribly wet winter, he sees the obvious advantage of hitting crops on sodden ground and reaching parts of the farm that would either be too dangerous or impractical.
Just think with this, the danger for farmers driving up and down the Welsh mountains, trying to put on fertiliser, and tractors running away and rolling over. And you could basically stand in the farmyard and send this off up the hill, put the fertiliser on for them, and come back and land in the yard, and you can go and do another field in the other direction.
What sort of mix have you got going in then, David?
We're going to do a 50-50 mix of seaweed and water. It's very concentrated, but it's going through a different pumping system with the drone, and they're just spraying it onto the leaf, and I think with the misting system that they've got, it should work extremely well.
What's it smell like? The sea?
Like a seaweed.
Let's have a smell, let's have a smell.
Mike's just going to open the packet of the Bio-N now, which is the nitrogen fixing and phosphate cycling bacteria. This will give a continual supply of nitrogen to the plants as the plants require it for up to at least 9 months. So it's just taking nitrogen out of the air and putting it onto the soil. It gets into the soil and then it's taken up by the plant.
This relationship is as much a human story as a business one. Alex was a farmer and experienced drone pilot, but his life changed forever when the Russians targeted the defences the Ukrainian military had installed on his farm, which sits along one of the main archery routes into Kyiv. Everything was destroyed, including his 3 hectares of glass houses. His family urged him to start a new life in the UK.
For example, if we stay here, this is my greenhouses. Jet system was maybe near a cow. So they also shoot jet system, and it's cover all my field and all greenhouses.
Okay.
So yes, but it was difficult, obviously, but I don't know, it's life.
Alex struggled to find work in the UK as his English was non-existent, so he started looking into the emerging agricultural drone industry. And here he is, a year on, a qualified pilot, and his English is coming along nicely.
So this is XAG P100 P100. We can cover 150 or 200 hectares per one day.
They're common in Ukraine, are they?
30,000 maybe people operate with big agriculture drone and provide service for fields, for greenhouses, and I think this market will grow. Also, it's reduce consumptions of fuel. Yes,
Fuel.
Fuel.
Fuel, yeah.
Fuel, petrol, diesel.
Much of his work so far has been glasshouse shading and solar panel cleaning, showing just how versatile these drones are. But today, it's all about seaweed and its amazing properties.
Seaweed is a biostimulant. It stimulates roots. It pushes roots down deeper. It produces more healthier plants. Producing more healthier plants produces more healthier animals, produces more healthier people.
Awesome.
What more do you want, you know?
The Edwards family was first introduced to seaweeds in the 1960s. They've fine-tuned this sustainably sourced, organic approved product so it can benefit all agricultural systems and livestock management. He says the two main reasons for people not seeing the sense in seaweed over modern day chemicals is a lot of farmers have ditched sprayers for hoppers to deliver fertilizer in a solid form, and of course the fear of change.
We are now getting the farmers that are in their 20s and 30s, and they'll say, yeah, we will do all, and they turn around and say, well, yeah, okay, we think it's absolutely wonderful, we want to use it, I've just got to go and ask Dad because he's got the purse strings. And mainly Dad says, no, we'll stick some nitrogen on because we know what it does.
After the drone has done its work, Michael heads over to grab a soil sample of the ground we've just covered. The guys don't just sell seaweed, they assess your soil health too.
We can see where our seaweed's landed on the plant. There's a couple of small dots here. So we know that that has actually landed on the plant and that'll go and work. With a conventional crop sprayer, we would see a lot more of these dots, but they'd be a lot finer. There will be a little bit of let's wait and see what happens. But at least we know that that machine will put our products on and they should go and work, especially with the challenging times we've had this year. At least that can go where a tractor and sprayer can't, and they're not creating any damage to the ground. For us, it's a huge win-win, and we'll see where things go.
This was never a test of the drone or the fertilizer, but whether they were compatible.
We set it up to do the right amount to cover the patch at 5 litres per hectare, and it's done it, and the tank's empty, and it's come back and landed. Wonderful.
And after a successful first flight, it looks like the future of farming could be sourced from the sea and delivered by air. For more information about Alex and his drone, go to farmdronesuk.com, and to learn about the benefits of seaweed fertiliser for the health of your soil, crops and livestock, head to ukseaweedfertiliser.co.uk.
Thank you to Dave, Mike and drone pilot Alex. Is it the future? Tell us what you think in the comments below. Next up, it's David with Farming Britain News.
This is Farming Britain News. As the 2024 general election campaigns hit their stride, the major political parties have made their offers of support for farming. But are they enough? Reacting to a report that found just 17% of fruit and 55% of vegetables consumed in the UK are grown here, the Sunak government pledged £80 million to support farmers hit by extreme weather and rising costs. Meanwhile, there's a £22 million infrastructure grant to help poultry farmers improve health, welfare and productivity in their flocks. In February, Keir Starmer told a farming conference that rural communities are in his DNA and important to Labour. Anti-farming policies persist, with Natural England suggesting that Somerset County Council could reduce phosphorus concentrations in rivers and waterways on the Somerset levels by ending livestock farming in favour of arable. And Welsh farmers have maintained their protests in Cardiff against the Welsh Government's treatment of farming. Public sympathy for sheep farming grows. An increasing population of protected ravens is devastating lambs on hill farms in Scotland. One shepherd told the Daily Mail that he considered quitting his career after ravens killed 220 lambs on his farm. 5 ewes also had to be destroyed at a farm near Blairgowrie in Perthshire, while sea eagles in Scotland continue to predate on lambs, as shown in the last episode of Farming Britain. However, Forestry England has brought out research to show that no lambs or similar creatures have been taken by the Isle of Wight sea eagles. Public sentiment is with the lambs. Welsh TV network S4C were following North Wales Police's rural crime team when they were called to a farm where 2 XL bully dogs were in the process of killing 22 pregnant sheep. Police body cams captured the dramatic incident as the farmer killed the dogs with a shotgun. The owner of the dogs was handed a £500 fine plus costs and a surcharge of £230 and £180, plus banned from keeping animals. The Netherlands will tear up rules forcing homeowners to buy heat pumps in a war against net zero by Geert Wilders and the Dutch Farmers' Party, BBB. 6 months after his shock election victory, Wilders is reversing green policies introduced under the previous government to hit EU climate targets, including the compulsory buyouts of farms. It also plans to end subsidies for electric cars in 2025 and rejects an EU demand that the Dutch reduce livestock numbers to cut pollution. The Dutch branch of Greenpeace said the coalition agreement was an attack on nature. Thousands of electricity pylons are to be installed across Britain as part of the National Grid's £31 billion plan to rewire the nation. The 6,000 electricity pylons will march across the English countryside, carrying 1,000 miles of overhead lines, as electricity demand is expected to double over the next 25 years. National Grid currently runs 4,400 miles of overhead cables on 22,000 pylons. Meanwhile, solar panels must not be built on good farmland, says Tory ministers wooing rural votes. A ministerial statement laid before Parliament makes clear that such projects should only be given the go-ahead when necessary. And finally, the last straw. The Cambridgeshire County Show is running a competition for young farmers to build inspiring structures from straw bales. Soham Young Farmers branch used 12 bales and spray-painted windows to make a model of Ely Cathedral. Comberton Young Farmers produced a windmill. March Young Farmers produced their version of London's Tower Bridge. True to type, Newbury Young Farmers created 2 cans of beer, and Huntington Young Farmers created an angel, or as they called it, a hangel. You are now up to date with Farming Britain News.
Thank you, David. Next up, it's me, and the cows have landed.
Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither was Charlotte's dairy shed, but since our first visit in August, it's all come together. This is the moment her herd of robot-trained Jersey cows arrived on the farm. It's a good job that Charlotte's not afraid of hard work. Are you working harder than you ever have before?
No!
What was this?
It wasn't my idea. Don't talk to me. But her silage is heavy.
A week after they set foot on her sparkling clean concrete, Charlotte gives us a tour.
So we had it in our head.
But first, let's rewind the clock to our interview in late summer 2023.
So where I'm standing sitting about now, there's going to be robots just behind me.
She recovers the very chair she used for that chat from The Verge and pops it on the spot where we started.
It hasn't moved at all. That's really horrible.
That's from August.
We've been busy, David, we've been busy. Here.
You've had a busy few months then.
I have had a very busy few months. We've been collecting cows.
How are you feeling about it?
Do you know what? Overwhelmingly positive. It's really good. I think the choice of herd that we chose made things a lot easier and a lot smoother, and for that I'm very, very grateful that it's gone so well.
Okay. Would have done anything different?
Got more cows.
Really?
No, I'm joking. No, they're wonderful. Oh, they're everywhere.
Oh, they are everywhere. That's quite an interesting shot, actually.
They're very nosy.
So we were here, I was here August last,
She's chewing on
August
you.
last year. So you were putting rubble in. Did it feel like it's like a lifetime away?
Ah, when you've been involved in doing it, it seems to have taken an absolute lifetime to get to where we've got to, but only because I remember every single piece of rubble that went in, I think. Stop it. They're really naughty.
Hands-on, haven't you? You've been absolutely part and parcel of this every single step of the way.
It's money, David. I'm free labour. No, I'm more of a hindrance, to be perfectly honest, but I enjoyed it. The builders didn't, but I loved it.
What was the hardest part for you?
Money. Yeah, sorting out money was it was really hard work, I won't lie. Like, what are you doing? Get out of the way.
Someone's literally...
Come on, ladies.
Have you got a favourite? Have you got a new...
Yes, I have Wonky Face.
Wonky Face?
Yeah, I'll find her for you. I'm surprised she's not stood right behind me. She normally follows me around. No, she's not there. You'll see what I mean. She's got a very wonky face. Bless her.
I'm surprised. Would have thought that Wonky Face would have a wonky face.
Yeah, but I've even changed her name on the robot, so when she goes in, it shows her name as Wonky Face on the screen. It's so strange to be down the yard doing something completely different and knowing that the cows are still milking. So when it senses milk coming out, it starts washing the brushes. And then if you look on the screen, so we're just trying to feel our way around how things should be done, when to get things in calf, when to start drying things off.
And how much will she produce today, do you think?
19.4, which is up on yesterday, I think.
So is that...
So she's produced 19.4 today, and is that normally she produces 18.6?
It's a very high-tech shed. The tags around the cows' necks gather and deliver data. It can tell if someone's already been milked and is looking for another go. The door automatically opens and lets her pass on through.
So yesterday it came up in the morning, cow, something Astrid she was called, and she had obviously they have a number, and it said she's coming up sick. So she's got a sick chance, that's what they call it. I'll show you, there's a sick chance on the computer. And she was all of a sudden, she was a new sick chance. And I was like, what's going on here? Like, there's nothing, and I thought nothing of it. Anyway, we got really busy and I thought nothing of it. She calved later on. No. So obviously her behaviour's changed. So it said that she was lying around a lot more and her rumination had changed. And then she calved. So it told me, if you know how to interpret the information that it's giving you, it's very, very clever. Otherwise, it's just a lot of numbers.
From above, there's some low-tech but smart thinking designs that have gone into this modern-day milking system.
Instead of the traditional straw beds, the cows are in cubicles. So basically, the red things that you can see behind me, they keep the cow in position and they lie on the mattress. And then there's something called a brisket board, which touches like their knees. And obviously, I'm not a cow, but like this bit here. And it stops them lying too far forward. And so their bottom hangs slightly over the edge, if you can see. And then they poo in the passageway and not on the beds.
So that must be size dependent then?
These are Jersey specific cubicles, yes. Because if they were shitting on the mattresses themselves, that's where the udder is. And you've got more chance of it being dirty. So you want everything about the dairy, I've learned, is cleanliness all the way. Everything's got to be clean, keep them as clean as possible, the teats as clean as possible, the milk filters as clean as possible, the passageways as clean as possible, because when they're walking onto the mattresses, they're obviously treading muck on. But as you can see, I scraped that less than an hour ago, and look at it, I think it is just part and parcel of keeping cows, that they're just going to be filthy.
Charlotte and Roy have been on this journey for years, but with spiralling costs and red tape, she wonders how anyone could enter this sector in the future.
If we started this project now, we wouldn't have been able to afford to do it. But because we started it when we did, I think we were really lucky, like several things came into play and we were able to do it. It's not usual for people to, I think probably at our age, be able to start something like this unless you've come outside of farming in and brought money in, just because it's so expensive. Like honestly, the legislation that you've got to go through is just unreal. But apart from that, the actual physicalities of milking cows, it's absolutely brilliant. It's really, really good fun.
It certainly looks like all that blood, sweat and tears was worth it. And if you want to taste some of Charlotte's Jersey milk, buy a bottle of Graham's and raise a glass.
This is Farming YouTube, which aims to show the latest and best farming videos that YouTube has to offer. Here's what I've picked for you this time. First up, here's one from Wisconsin in the USA. Although it's a predicament familiar to farmers all over. They get not one but 3 tractors stuck in the mud, and it's quite a job getting them out again. More trouble over at Crawford's farm in Scotland when the new bull arrives. He spooks and goes on the run, ending up on the road. Over to Corner Farm in Gloucestershire for more bull trouble. Their bull has got in among the calves, so the vet's called out to discover whether they're pregnant. From cattle to sheep, and over in Ireland they're shearing the rams, then taking a couple of lambs to entertain the residents of a local nursing home. The funky farmer was delighted to find and buy back the farm's old Massey 35 tractor. Now it's getting smartened up for the very important job of transporting the coffin at his friend Dave's funeral. Tom Pemberton in Lancashire is excited to be putting in maize, so there's a hectic few days that see him muck spreading and ploughing on the farm for the first time in years. Our very own Gareth Wynne Jones is talking to activist and journalist Lauren Southern, explaining why he's angry and saying it's time to tell the truth about farming and food security. And finally, if you haven't yet caught up with season 3 of Clarkson's Farm, here's a compilation of some of the funniest moments from the series. That's it for this episode. We've put all these films into a playlist for you. Click on the eye symbol top right or check this film's description. If you have a YouTube film you'd like us to pop into our next roundup, email us the link hello@farmingbritain.tv.
Thank you for watching Farming Britain. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us over on Facebook and Instagram. I'm off to robotically milk my cows. See you next time.